Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is chapter 27 of Gains, and this one is titled Getting to Know Bakugou. Menus, Bakugou grunted, gesturing to a menu set nearby, and you looked across and then brought a hand up from under the table to get one and drag it across in front of you. That hand's mission completed, you then allowed it to return immediately to join your other hand under the table again to rest in your lap. Bakugou picked up a menu too, but he knew exactly what he wanted to eat, so was more just using it to cover his face a bit while he thought. I need to find out something to talk about, he thought, scowling into the menu pages in front of him. Dumb hair's already ahead of me. Can't lose to him. What are you going to get? You asked him, still looking through the delicious-looking food items. Every picture next to the names of the dishes made your mouth water, and you were pretty sure you could have eaten about everything that they had to offer. Extra spicy katsu udon, fried chili on top, Bakugou said proudly. Large. Where's that? You asked, your eyes scanning the menu for it. Next page, he grunted. You turned the page and scanned down the items to the udon section until you found it. Yeah, that one looked pretty good. You hummed, eyeing the image next to the name of the food. You gonna get it too? He asked, and you thought about it for a second. Yeah, okay, I'll give it a go, you said, looking up at him. He gave you a proud, snarling smirk, and then turned his attention to one of the waitstaff nearby. Oi! He shouted. You nearly died. How rude was this guy? The man walked over and Bakugou made the order for you both, while you hid behind the menu book. 2 extra spicy katsu udon, with fried chili on top. Large, he detailed. Please, you whispered, but it went unheard. Bring the hot sauce too, Bakugou added. Please, you said again, a little louder, and the waiter glanced at you for a second and gave you a small apologetic smile and then scurried off, leaving you alone with Mr. Rude. You putting hot sauce on, right? Bakugou asked, sitting back in his chair and crossing his arms across his chest as he smirked across at you. I will, if you say thank you to the waiter when he brings our food, you challenged. You were known for being quiet, but you couldn't stay quiet while he was being so demanding and politeless. If that's not a word, then it is now. Why do I have to thank him? It's his job, Bakugou scowled. Yes, it's his job, but he doesn't have to bring your food for you now, does he? He has free reign. He could tell you to get lost. He doesn't owe you anything, but it would be nice if you said a thank you. It costs you nothing, and it would make him and me happy, you added, feeling very strongly about this, while managing to look Bakugou in the eye the whole time. Couldn't care less about him. I don't even know him, Bakugou retorted, keeping his arms across his chest. But, he averted his eyes and scowled. I'll do it for you. Just this one time. Don't think I'm going to be saying thank you to everyone. You hear? He added snappily, keeping his head turned to the side. That's really nice, Bakugou, thank you, he said sweetly, feeling a little warm inside. He grunted and lifted his hand to his face to rub his cheek and hide the blush there. It had felt nice, you thanking him. The food came back momentarily, and you glanced at Bakugou as the waiter put the dishes down in front of you both. Thank you, you said to the guy, looking at him as you said it. Then you looked at Bakugou. Yeah, thanks, he grunted, gritting his teeth and sounding far more threatening than if he'd just kept quiet in the first place. Was it really that hard to say? You joked lightly, giving him a little smirk. Sounds dumb coming from me, he grunted, grabbing his fork and digging into his bowl of extra spicy noodles. You watched him shovel it into his mouth and eat it like it was nothing, so you grabbed your fork too and dug out a slightly smaller amount to taste it first. You took a dainty mouthful and chewed it. The flavour was amazing, and it did have a kick to it, but not too much. Good, Bakugou asked from across the table, cheek full of spicy noodles. You hummed, nodding with a mouthful of delicious goods. You chewed it down and then looked up at him. It's spicy, but it's not too bad. It accumulates, he replied, shoveling more in. Okay, you said, going back to eating. The two of you were pretty hungry, so didn't talk much as you shoveled food into your mouth, and he was right. It was accumulating, and you could feel the sweat starting to dot your brow. Whew, you huffed after having finished 3/4 of your bowl. Weak, Bakugou smirked as he powered through. I'm not here to challenge, I came here for good food, he replied, fanning yourself a bit. Go and get water, Bakugou said after seeing you fanning yourself. Free water, on the stand, he added, jerking his head over to where there was a water jug and cups. You got up and walked over to get a glass, and thought it best if you got one for him too, so poured him a glass of water and then carried them both back to the table. Bakugou's crimson eyes watched you walk all the way back, and you had to keep your eyes averted because for some reason the way he watched you made you feel even hotter than what the chili had been doing to you. "You gonna do your history homework tonight?" Bakugo asked suddenly, after you'd sat down again and pushed his glass of water over to him. Yeah," he replied, "but I really suck at homework. Kiri and I tried to do homework together the other night and we ended up both not being able to help each other," he said with a small chuckle. "It's because he's a dunce," Bakugo grunted. "You should do homework with me." "I thought you and he were friends," you asked, confused. "I saw you two together a lot before, but how come things aren't good between you now?" "Sometimes," Bakugo said sharply. "Two people go after the same thing, and it pulls them apart." Well, that was fairly obvious, Bakugo, wasn't it now? Chapter 28 coming tomorrow. I'll see you then.